Okay, so I wanted to make this quick video talking about what games do I think will be nominated for Game of the Year. It was announced recently that we will be getting the nominations for the Game Awards this Monday. So November 17th is when they will be officially showing off what games will be nominated for Game of the Year. And I wanted to take this time before that big day happens and just talk about what games do I think will be nominated for Game of the Year. And so what I did was I basically made like a Google Docs, and like I put most of the games that I thought that came out throughout the year, and I basically put a list of games of games that I thought or may have a chance at being one of the 5 or 6 games that gets nominated for Game of the Year. And out of all those games, I picked the best 6, or actually I have 8, but like the 8 that I have are not all games that I think will make the list entirely. But I wanted to go over my list of games that I think will be nominated for Game of the Year, and just give my reason for why I, think it's pretty much a lock for Game of the Year. And so, yeah. So starting off on the list, the first game that I have on my list is Expedition 33. So I'm not gonna lie, I think I can safely say, and I feel like a lot of people can safely say, that Expedition 33 is definitely is a lock for Game of the Year. Like I don't see it like not winning. Like I do, like I feel like there's just a 99% chance that this game is definitely winning Game of the Year. I have no doubts about that. So obviously that's the first game that I have on my list. Obviously playing through that game was such an experience in itself. Just how that game shook up the industry in terms of like, a lot of these games, costing so much money to make, and you have a game, or having a game like Expedition 33 being made by like a small team, and it doing so much with like so little, and everything, and the story, the characters, the freaking turn-based element of it. Even though I don't really play turn-based games like that, that Expedition 33 had such an interesting and like fun and unique, spin on it and everything. And just like the vibes of the game, and just like also the music. The music is another thing that I absolutely love from that game as well. And it is still definitely my Game of the Year. There are a lot of games that have come out, after Expedition 33, because Expedition 33 did come out fairly earlier in the year. And so the fact that this game is still being talked about, the fact that people are making video essays on it still, the fact that people are still, it's still relevant, it means a lot. And so with all of that, I do think it is the clear-cut winner for Game of the Year for 2025, in my opinion. The second game I have on my list is Ghost of Yotei. Now this is an interesting one, just for the fact that like I feel like I put this on the list mainly because it is a first party AAA PlayStation exclusive game, and I feel like those are usually guarantees for Game of the Year slots. Like just looking back on the last couple of years of the Game Awards, Spider-Man 2, freaking God of War, The Last of Us, so that's mainly one of the reasons why I put it up here. But the other reason is I've played through the game. I reviewed it on the channel, and I really did enjoy this game. I gave it like an 8 out of 10, and even though I didn't enjoy it as much as Ghost of Tsushima, only from like a story perspective, I do feel like Ghost of Tsushima just had a more of a impact, more than Ghost of Yotei did, because Ghost of Yotei being the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, it does a lot of things gameplay wise. I feel like it just enhances on a lot of the things that Ghost of Tsushima did, gameplay wise, exploration wise, and everything. So I really did enjoy Ghost of Yotei, and I feel like, because I have heard that, like, for some people, they don't see Ghost of Yotei making the cut or making it on the list for Game of the Year, and I can kind of see that. I can see. I feel like you could probably make an argument that some of the other games that I have on my list could probably replace Ghost of Yotei, but yeah, that's definitely one of the games I have on my list. I would be kind of surprised if it didn't make the list for Game of the Year, but we'll just have to see. But that is the second game that I have on my list. Moving on to the third game I have on the list. This is a game that I did not play, but just, being involved in gaming culture and always keeping up to date with, every game, whether or not I do play it or not. The third game I have on my list is Death Stranding 2. And this is not the only game on the list that I haven't played. Some of the games on this list are basically my, I guess, general understanding of how the game industry works and what games are popular, what games are what are the games that are people talking about the most. And the third game is Death Stranding 2. But yeah, just talking about this game, the reason why I have it on the list is mainly because, now let's be honest here, we can all be honest, let's all say it together, Hideo Kojima. And yeah, I mean, I feel like that is one of the main reasons why I have this game on this list. Obviously, you look back at the history of the Game Awards, and it's basically a meme at this point. People like to joke around all the time that, Hideo and Jeff are basically lovers at this point. But no, I mean, it's Hideo Kojima. The dude is, when it comes to the gaming industry, the dude is basically he's freaking God. I don't know. But no, Death Stranding 2, and it's funny because I haven't played Death Stranding 2, but I did play Death Stranding 1 this year. And just going off the first Death Stranding game, that game is definitely unique, just in the sense that, like, that game is definitely not for everyone. For me going into that, or into the first game, knowing that, it was interesting to see whether or not I would still like it, because for me, I tend to give games a chance, even if it's a game I'm not really into. I mean, I feel like there are specific types of games that I just usually don't play, like sports games. I usually just don't play because I don't find them interesting, or racing games or anything like that. But when it came to Death Stranding 2, it was such a unique game, just in the sense that, like, you are just delivering packages, and it's really the type of game where, like, you're just taking the environment around you and you're just kind of immersing yourself in this weird and strange world that Kojima has made and everything. And I'm assuming, because I haven't played the second game, I'm assuming Death Stranding 2, for what I've heard, is that, like, people enjoy the gameplay sections more in Death Stranding 2, but I think I heard that for some people, they thought that Death Stranding's 1, or the first Death Stranding story, was better than the second one. I have no idea. I've only played the first game's story, and just going off of that one was super weird and convoluted, and I'm not going to pretend like I understood anything that was going on in that story, but it definitely was interesting, I guess. But yeah, Death Stranding 2, I do think will be nominated will be one of the nominations that are for Game of the Year. And going on to the fourth game on the list, it's another game that I haven't played, and it is Donkey Kong Bonanza. Now, talking about this game, haven't played Donkey Kong Bonanza, but just hearing people's thoughts and opinions on it, a lot of people seem to really enjoy this game. Just talking about this game in general, just from the looks of it, it did have like the vibes of like a Mario Odyssey, with it being like a 3D platformer essentially and everything. But it is a Nintendo game. Usually with Nintendo games, if it's a really high praise Nintendo game, then it usually gets on Game of the Year, or it gets on the Game of the Year list. And so I do think there is a high possibility that Donkey Kong Bonanza gets on the list for Game of the Year. Okay, so moving on to the next game, we have Hollow Knight Silksong, another game I did not play. There's a lot of games that I have still not, or haven't played at all this year. But Hollow Knight Silksong is another game, and I don't know a lot when it comes to Hollow Knight. I know that it is basically one of the most popular indies out there right now, and with Hollow Knight Silksong, just the anticipation that people had for this game was like nothing that I had really seen, especially for like an indie game. Like I have never seen the sheer amount of anticipation and excitement for an indie game like Hollow Knight Silksong, to the point where like when I was looking at social media and just like the internet, and how when this game released and how it basically crashed eShops and everything, just from how many people wanted to play this game. It definitely was the most popular indie game this year. The only other indie game that I think might have a shot of getting on the list for Game of the Year is Blueprints. That was another indie game that came out this year that, it seemed like, took the gaming industry by storm, just by I'm pretty sure that game was like a puzzle solving game. I'm pretty sure. I don't know a lot about Blueprints. I just know that it was super popular for a hot minute, and then it kind of just seemed like people stopped talking about it. But overall, I heard that it was a pretty good game and everything, and that people really liked it. So that's the only other indie game that I can think of that might get on the list. But I do think Hollow Knight Silksong does have the highest chance of making it on the Game of the Year list. And the next game that I have on the list is actually the last game that I have on my list, but is technically not the last game, because I have two other games after that. And the reason why is because the last two games after this one is, I feel like you could maybe interchange the last one I have with these other two games, but we're gonna get into that a little bit later. But the last game I have on my list technically is Split Fiction. Now, this was another game that came out earlier this year. Didn't get to play it, but just talking about this game, and obviously this is from the same people who made It Takes Two and A Way Out. Those two games being really well received, with it, It Takes Two winning Game of the Year actually in 2021. And so, with these types of games, being made by Joseph Ferris and everything, I am definitely interested to see if, because I feel like, I don't know, and I might be wrong on this, but it kind of just seems like the general consensus is that Split Fiction was a really good game. It's a co-op game. You get to play with your friends and experience basically creative and unique gameplay ideas and everything. And it seems like this game had that, and everything, but it kind of just feels like it didn't have the, I guess, staying power, or the the relevance that maybe It Takes Two did have back in 2021. So I really am interested to see, because I feel like this game does have a really good chance of being or getting on the list for Game of the Year, but I feel like it can be interchanged with two other games that I do want to talk about. And the other two games that I have on my list are Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Hades 2. And I don't know, I'm kind of iffy about one of these, you know, especially with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I know that this is another game that came early out this year, or came out early this year. I don't know, I kind of phrased that weirdly, but yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was definitely one of those games that was, you know, actually super popular. It seems like a lot of people enjoyed it and everything. I don't know a lot about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I think it is like an open world game. It's like a medieval open world game, I believe. But yeah, I do know that this game has a lot of fans. A lot of people really enjoyed this game this year. But in my opinion, and I might be wrong on this, I know a lot of people want this to be nominated for one of the games for Game of the Year, but in my opinion, I don't see it making the cut, in my opinion. And I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, because I don't know a lot about the game itself, and I haven't played it to really give my actual opinion on it. I just know that people really enjoyed it, and I don't know. I feel like you could make the case that you could possibly take Split Fiction off and put Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on there, but I don't know. I just feel like it does. I don't know. I could just see a high possibility where it just doesn't make it on the list. And the other game that I am kind of conflicted on is Hades 2. Now, I didn't know this until recently, but apparently I think Hades 2 was shadow dropped this year, or like, I don't know if it came out this month or last month, but apparently you can play the full game now, I think. And for what I've heard, people have, you know, been enjoying this game. Obviously the last Hades, and this is another game that I need to play. I haven't played the first Hades. I actually have it on in my Steam library. I think I purchased it maybe this year, but I haven't gotten around to it. So I do want to try the first Hades. But yeah, I have been hearing that a lot of people have been enjoying Hades 2, and I wouldn't be surprised if Hades 2, because I have heard some people say that Hades 2 could be on the Game of the Year, or one of the Game of the Year nominations. And I mean, I can see it too. I can see Hades 2 replacing Split Fiction. I know a lot of people were saying that it could maybe replace Ghost of Yote, because I did have Ghost of Yote in my list, and some other people's list, you know, basically had the same games I had, just Ghost of Yote wasn't on the list, and Hades 2 made it on there instead. And so if Hades 2 makes it on there, that would be cool. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. But yeah, my list, or my official list right now, is Expedition 33, Ghost of Yote, Death Stranding 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hollow Knight Silksong, and Split Fiction. Those are the 6 games that I have on my list. And the only game that I could see maybe getting replaced is Split Fiction with Hades 2 or Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But I'm pretty confident in this list. And yeah, man, we'll just have to see on November 17th when the nominations are officially revealed and everything. But in the comments down below, do you agree with my list of Game of the Year nominations? Are there games that I didn't have have on this list that you might have on yours? Do you agree with my list? Do you not agree with it? Let me know down in the comment section below. And yeah, man, that's gonna do it for this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. So yeah, bye.
Oh, wait. Huh? There's Kojima, look. Ooh. Did you know that Jeff Keighley's friends with him?
Yeah, but does Kojima know that?
Yeah.